So day 2 of the office build. Day 1 was cut fairly short. I had to go pick my son up from school, but we got one wall, one frame. Quite a few lessons learned on this one. Measure. Make sure things are level. Plan for today is to get the wall over here put in, the wall across the floor there, and then perhaps start thinking about that back wall, because I need to build out over the distribution board. I'm going to block that in. I'll put a panel in so it can be accessed, but I want to cover that over so it's not just there. So we'll at least get 2 walls done, over there and there. Have a look at the back wall, and then that will leave these 2 walls here, which I would like to do last, because it's got the window, and I think I'm going to put the door in this wall so we access the office from the side, which should hopefully reduce some of the dust, because all the dust is going to be over there, so I don't want the doors here because the dust will just come in. So if we put the door at the side, that should help to minimize some dust, and it means that around the side here, where we'd like to do a little bit of recording, we've got 2 clean walls, and a clean wall at the back. There will be a clean wall at the back. So 2 side walls that are clean and 1 clean wall at the end. And I can use all of the space on the floor here. It doesn't matter if there are things in the way, so I could put a tool wall on here, because the door's going to be over there for access. So I'm going to get to it. That's why I don't do things left-handed, and why you should keep your hands out of the way of the tools, just in case you slip, because I've just pushed the driver into the center of my nail on my thumb, on my good hand, and it really hurt. I don't know if we can see that. It's going to bruise. Hopefully I don't lose my nail, but we'll see. It's really sore. Lessons learned, kids. Keep your hands clear of your tools, and use your good hand, not your bad hand. Just wiggle stuff around. Make sure there's space. So I've got the 3 walls up, got one at the back against that wall, one in there, one in there. So I've got my 3 walls held in with a brace at the moment, and I've started planning this back wall. Now, because of the size of it and the way that I struggled with this side wall over here, what I'm planning on doing is cutting into 3 portions. We'll have one section there, and I have a section that goes over the distribution unit, and then another section that goes to the end. So I'll put it up in three sections, and that may make it a bit easier to frame it as well, I think. So I've done myself a little drawing to plan out what we're doing. From the left wall here, there's the window. We've got, I haven't put a lintel above it because there's not going to be anything above it. It's going to have some joists going across, and I'm planning to brace it in the middle with 2, I don't know what you call those, 2 little studs, just to spread the weight of the joists, but I don't think it's necessary. And we'll build over the radiator so that it's got its own little enclosure that can stick out from the wall, so that heat actually goes into the room, but will partially obscure the back of it. And unfortunately the window is above the radiator, or above the heater, so I've got like a sill here and a sill here. We'll see how this goes. This is to scale, so at least I know what my cuts are going to be. I've measured everything out, and it should be good to go. So let's try it. I'm quite impressed. Whether it actually goes into the wall where it's supposed to go and fits is a different story, but I think this is not a bad attempt at a timber game of columns. It all seems to line up nicely. I've still got all of my fingers, and it looks somewhat like my drawing. So now I'm going to put about 19,000 screws into it. I can see now why people use framing nailers or nailing guns to do timber framing. I would imagine that it probably takes about 1/10 of the time to assemble something when you just shoot a nail into it, as opposed to a pilot hole screw, which takes about, I don't know, probably only 15 seconds a screw. Maybe 10, 15 seems long. Go between 7 and 10 seconds a screw. But if you've got a couple of 100 screws to do, or 1,000 screws to do on a smallish wall, saving those 5,000 seconds or 7,000 seconds would soon add up to, what's that, 2 hours for 7,200 seconds? 2 hours of saving for having a nailer. So I think if I do a bigger project framing, I'll invest in a nailer. For now, because I'm halfway through, we'll go with screws. So I'm going to screw this all together, and fingers crossed it goes into the wall nicely, and it stays in one piece, and it fits, and everybody's happy. I'm fairly certain that went in first time. There was no messing around. I definitely didn't measure the radiator and then put some jack studs in either side that made it not fit. Definitely didn't do that. And I definitely checked that the conduit was level when I measured, so that everything fit. Definitely did that. Yeah, so first time, no problems. Part of the wall done. Now I've just got 2 more sections of that wall. So we'll do one, as I said, built out over the distribution unit to hide that. And we'll put a panel in, and one over the other radiator. Then we've got this wall down here, and this wall along there. Then I'll stick the joists at the top, and go and buy lots and lots of plasterboard. I have no idea how I'm going to do the plasterboard by myself, because I don't want to buy one of those super cool plasterboard hanging things that lifts up the plasterboard to the ceiling for you and holds it in place. Might have to make myself a little jig. But I think it went quite well. It fits after obviously the first try. There's light. It looks quite good. There is a little gap. I don't know if we can see it in here. Just in here. But that will be remedied by the joists and things, just putting it down. This side is a little bit loose. Just where it's basically only supported by that. There's nothing at the bottom holding it together. So that just needs fixing to the wall. But otherwise, good job. Looks pretty good. Starting to take shape. And I think that's me done for the day. So we'll be back tomorrow for hopefully those 2 bits, possibly that small wall as well. This one I'm going to build a window into, so that'll take a little bit of messing around. But hopefully by, if not the end of tomorrow, the end of Wednesday, we'll have the frame of the office.